Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls, all appropriate ages, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. Hope you're staying safe and healthy. So, this is something I've been meaning to talk about for a little bit, but been sidetracked by a few other things. And it's probably because we're also not going to see them for quite some time, given everything else that's going to be happening in Warframe. But, I was going through all the Kuva and Tenet weapons, since I have now finally got my lazy ass to max them all up. Put 5 former on everything. And I was going through the numbers. And if we go through primary weapons, we have 11 Kuva weapons and 4 Tenet weapons. With secondaries, we have 5 Kuva weapons and 4 Tenet weapons. And for melee, we only actually have 1 Kuva melee weapon and 4 Tenet melees. And that brings the total score: Kuva weapons 17, Tenet weapons 12. So 5 short. And Kuva had 2 rounds of weapons, and so far Tenet have only had 1. And even though, like I said, we probably won't see them for a while with every other update that's coming up involving Lewis Prey, which involves 2 new nodes and the new Warframe Varuna. And then we've also got Deviri Paradox and Crossplay and every other hot fix in between. And we've also got Christmas coming up next month. The joy. But I'm here in the dojo, which needs repainting because these are the old colours I used to go by, orange, black and blue. And we shall go to, not navigation, god damn it. We may come back to navigation in a bit because I need to go to the arsenal for something. If we go to fast travel and to energy lab, I just want to go through what I predict will be the next lot of Tenet weapons. And I'm going to try and round it up to 5, just for the sheer fact it would level it out with the Kuva weapons. So, let's just go along the list of weapons. Cero, cool looking weapon. High status, but mostly slash and electric. Well, actually, it's only slash and electric, let's be honest. But I'm going to try and avoid saying they're going to add any more Tenet melee weapons because we've got more of those than we do Kuva melee weapons. So, Prova has a Vandal variant, and I'm not going to say anything with a Vandal or Wraith variant would get a Tenet variant, even though I haven't properly checked to see if any of the Kuva weapons had a Vandal or Wraith variant yet. Actually no, it's Corpus that got Vandal and it's Grineer that got Wraith. So yeah, Vandal variant. Prova has a Vandal variant, so yeah. Supra has a Vandal variant. Quanta has a Mutilus variant. Dera has a Vandal variant. Falcor, I don't think it's a... plus it's a melee. Spectra has a Vandal variant. So far, but that's melee, so far, not looking good. Cycron already got a Tenet variant, and it is awesome. Cyanex. I don't know, because the Cyanex and the Comarex are kind of like amalgamations, so I wouldn't think so. But then we come to the Arca Cisco, which I do hope is a Tenet variant on the way, because it came out with the Arca Plasmor. The Arca Plasmor got a Tenet variant, so I'm going to say the Arca Cisco would get a Tenet variant. And if we look at its stats, like crit isn't the best and status is high, but it did have that zoom function and it was pretty good. So yeah, Arca Cisco would be a Tenet variant. Lanka, nah, it's still a pretty decent sniper rifle, and to this day, a lot of people still use it when they go eidolon hunting. Opticore got probably one of the most talked about Vandal variants in Warframe because people were feeling like they were being cheaped on it. No, that's a... Imagine if we got Cuba or Tenet companions. That would be pretty sweet. Convectrix. I just used this in one of my Random Is As Random Does episodes, and I never actually looked at its stats properly. So, high status per projectile. It's a beam weapon, so it counts as a shotgun, which is why it's got status per projectile. At 45% on base, but only 9.6 on the slash. That could do with a Tenet variant, yeah, so maybe the Convectrix as well. It didn't get a Vandal or anything. Arc Plasma, already got one. Flux, already got one, and it was busted. Tenet Amprex. Oh, I mean, the Amprex was back in the day. Maybe it still is, I haven't used it in a while, but was one of the best things to pair up with Hunter munitions. So maybe the Amprex could be a good one. Staticore. I actually enjoy these Duracell battery looking weapons. Like, we look at these stats. 0 quick shot radial attack, 0% crit. Compared to the quick shot, 14% with a 2.2. And it's all radiation. But look. Its crit ain't good, but its status is pretty solid. But it's only radiation. Well, you could still pair viral with it, I guess. And that would be good against alloy armor enemies like bombards. So maybe the Staticore? I'm writing down what ones I think might be good variants, just so I can, like, take them up. Yes, the lens. One of the original, if not the original, AoE bow with hella good crit, 50% crit chance and a 2x crit multiplier, and I have a ribbon for it. I haven't used it in so long. Cold and blast, so slow enemies down when they're in the bubble, and then blast just mutes them around. This needs some Tenet love. It's been so long, because it's not going to get a prime. It wouldn't get a Vandal variant at this point in the game. Lens isn't definitely. Galaxian got a Vandal. Ferox, we have not had a Kuva or Tenet spear weapon yet. And Ferox, I think still has. I think the Ferox still has the highest crit per out of all the spear weapons. So I think the Ferox would get some love. The Dual Sestra. The Kuva's got the Twin Dubber Stubber. This is high in status but only impact and puncture. So I think the Dual Sestra would actually get some love in the Tenet variety. These also are like amalgamation weapons, which I don't think they would get a Tenet variant for then. But I wanted to go to Arsenal because there is the Ambassador, which dropped from Railjack missions back in when it first launched, which also got a bit of controversy. Oh yeah, this is why I also hate the new Obsidian colour scheme, because I've got the old school Obsidian Azura colour scheme on it, and it looks like it's been majorly covered in toothpaste. I do not like DE. Change the Obsidian colour scheme back to original, please, because this is Garbo. But yeah, that's what it looked like in all its glory, with its base paint coat. But we go to its stats, because this is technically a corpus weapon. Let's get rid of all this and look at it. Oh dear, remove all mods has bugged out again. Jesus Christ on a bike. That's better. Now we can look at its stats properly. So accuracy 111.1, ammo max 1200, ammo pickup 80, fire rate 13.33, magazine of 96, reload of 2.6, riven dispo of 3, trigger auto. Mainly deals electric, which isn't a bad thing to go with these days. Crit multiplier of 2.8 with crit chance 14, heavy on status. It's charge shot. Still heavily favoured towards status. But yeah, I think the Ambassador could technically get some Tenet love. See, it is a Corpus assault rifle, but it's not something you get from the dojo, it's something you get from Railjack. Unless there's anywhere else you can get it from these days, in which case I have no clue. But yeah, so out of all that we've got, if I write down the Ambassador, Ambass, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 options for Tenet weapons. Well, the lens is definitely one, and we're going to try and bring it down to 5. The Ferox, I think a Tenet spear weapon would be awesome. Dual Sestra, just because the Kuva's got twin double stubbers, so I think Tenet Dual Sestra would be insane. It'd be fun. So that leaves the Amprex, the Convectrix, the Arca Cisco, and the Ambassador. Given that we have put down the Dual Sestra, which would level out Kuva secondaries at 5 and Tenet's currently at 4, the Dual Sestra would bring that up to 5. I'm still going to probably say the Statical would probably get a Tenet version. Amprex, I think, is still pretty decent, so I don't think that would get a Tenet. Arca Cisco, just because the Arca Plasma got one, I think that would get a Tenet version. Convectrix could do with a Tenet love, but I think that the game's gone by and forgotten about it. Ambassador could, but I don't know, I think it's not old enough within the game to get a Tenet variant. So out of the 8, the 5 I have picked for the Tenet variants are the Arca Cisco, the Staticore, and the Dual Sestra, which are 3 secondary weapons, which would bring Tenet secondaries up to 7, 2 over the Kuva. And then you've got the Lens and the Ferox, which would bring Tenet primaries up to 6, and you know, Kuva still have 11 primaries, but that evens out the numbers. But I'm making all these predictions, or what I think would be a decent fit for Tenet weapons, but we have had like weapons, both Kuva and Tenet, that we never saw in game before. Like, well, actually no, Prisma weapons. I forgot about Prisma, because we have a Tenet Tetra and a Prisma Tetra. We have a Quanta Vandal. But yeah, well, I forgot about the Prisma. It doesn't matter. I've already made my decisions. We had the Snipertron Vandal, which is yeah, Super Vandal. But yeah, where are we? So yeah, like the Kuva Chakur was a new weapon. The Brahma was a new weapon. The Envoy was a new weapon. Like, we had quite a few new weapons, especially in secondaries. Like the Diplos and the Spirex. Oh, damn. Only 2 of them were pretty new. Stubbers already existed, but yeah, Diplos and Spirits were relatively new. All of the melee weapons for both Kuva and Tenet were new. So if we don't get any like brand new, never seen before weapons, I still think it's going to be the Arca Cisco, the Static Orb, the Lens, the Ferox, and the Dual Sestra. But this is all speculation, and it's probably not going to see the light of day till probably halfway through next year, if I'm honest, because with all the other updates they've got lined up and when they're actually going to be coming out now without, I mean, things are going to get delayed. Things have already been delayed, which I'm actually okay with. I'd rather them delay them and get it all worked and polished properly rather than it being rushed out and as bugged as they normally are. That's just my opinion anyway. But yeah, what would you like to see in the next round of Tenet weapons? How many do you think we should get? Or what do you think we will get? Or do you think we'll just get something new to surprise us all completely? But yeah, that's my little thought process going on. Maybe I need help, maybe I don't, who knows. But that's all for today, and I shall see you all later. By the way, this legend thing is... I don't know what this legend thing is in the dojo, but it doesn't work. So DE, another little thing to take care of in an update.